What's up guys, welcome back to Deck Tech for Decks. I'm your host Caleb. If you want to support me, you can now follow me through Patreon. Not only is that the best way to support the channel, but additionally, you'll get more say in what decks I cover. Special shout out to my high contributing patrons, Newsom, you rock. Now let's get into today's Deck Tech with Kylox. And guys, before we get into it, remember, while everybody else is giving you spoilers, I'm giving you full length deck techs. So if you appreciate the work that I do, a like, a comment, and a subscribe go a long way. Additionally guys, I already knocked out Voha, so if you're interested in that monster, go ahead and check it out after this video. Now let's get into Kylox. This guy's super expensive but super busted at the same time. We're going to try to win the turn this guy comes down, because honestly, having to recast a 7-cost commander, not that into it. So before our opponents have a chance to interact, we're just going to try to win the game. The way we do this is we need to include a combination of high power creatures, extra combat steps, and a storm strategy to kind of get us to the win. Is it in Storm? Can you imagine that? Now, we're going to try to use stuff like Fractal Theorist first. We get this on the battlefield. Now, whenever we're casting our instant and sorceries that ramp us into our commander, we're generating a board state, and the board state's just generating more and more power. Then whenever we attack with our commander, we can usually count on exiling up to 10 cards. From there, we cast our extra combat steps, and our extra combat steps are going to generate more bodies for the next combat step, and this will kind of just rifle us through our library, finding us our combo, and we're probably going to try to generate infinite spell casts and win through Ral, or we're going to try to generate infinite mana and win through a giant Kraken with power. So if that sounds like a deck tech you want to get into, let's get into it. Let's kick it off by talking about how we can add a sizable amount of power to the board. Nader Kraken. Now every time you draw a card, not only will you get a 1/1, you'll additionally get another 1/1 counter on Nader Kraken, essentially adding 2 power to the board every time you draw a card, as long as you can pay the 1. Chasm Skulker's a lot easier. What I like about this guy is you can do it twice, right? If we make this guy have 8 power, we're going to get 7 1/1 creatures on our next combat step, allowing us to exile the top 7 cards again if we sacrifice all of them. This card's extremely useful in the deck. Fractal Theorist, Chrome Host Seed Shark, and Mana Form Hellkite all generate massive creatures whenever we're casting those massive spells. Chrome Host Seed Shark is probably the worst effect out of these 3. You do have to pay the 2 to go ahead and turn it into a creature, which kind of sucks, but in a pinch, it still does what we need it to do. Ominous Seas, very simple. We draw cards, we remove counters, and then we get an 8/8. Phyrexian Processors is a kind of funny card. We just pay a ton of life, and then we get a massive creature every turn. Kiora Best the Sea God is in here for a couple reasons. One, we get that 8/8 giant Kraken. Additionally, we get to tap all non-land permanents target opponent controls. This is going to allow our commander to attack this player constantly without us worrying about blockers. Rihanna Fire Dancer is really busted. We're casting a ton of instant and sorcery spells, so we are going to get a ton of tokens. Not to mention, we are running Combat Celebrant, so that's just going to net us infinite combat steps out of the gate. Our commander's super expensive, so we need ways to get him down earlier than turn 7. Treasure Map is going to be solid. It comes down early, it gives you that scry ability, and then additionally, it'll just net you 3 treasure tokens and a land, netting you 4 mana overall. Descent into Avernus, all we have to do is make sure we can win the game before our opponents, and this card is going to be fine. Definitely look at what you're playing against while playing this card. If there's a Korlov at the table, just don't play this card. The Titanic seems pretty solid here. Not only can it net us treasure tokens, but late game if we need a giant creature, we can crew this and boom, we've got a 7 power creature. Rousing Refrain is that card that just does not go away. You can easily suspend this early game and then it just nets you your commander. Jessica's Will, there are scenarios where you just cast this just for the ritual effect and cast your commander, but it's even better with your commander out. Mana Geyser, not only is this part of our infinite mana combo, but additionally, it can easily ramp us into our commander. Hit the Motherload is 9 times out of 10 just going to give us a ton of treasure tokens, but we're probably getting this off of our commander's attack trigger instead of us outright casting it. Seize the Spoils, Inspired Tinkering, Big Score, and Unexpected Windfall effects are pretty awesome. I just really like the fact that we can rifle through our library, getting us to our key pieces while ramping. Prismari Command also fits into this category, and then we have Stormkiln Artist. There is a way to net us infinite treasure tokens with this guy. Now let's get us into those combos that win us the game. Reiterate and Mana Geyser can net us infinite mana. All we have to do is cast Mana Geyser and then reiterate, copying the Mana Geyser. Make sure you pay for the buyback cost, and then reiterate will end up back into your hand, and you can copy Mana Geyser again. This will net you infinite mana. Then all you have to do is cast Kraken with power and kill the entire table. We also run Expansion and Explosion and Howl of the Horde. Notably, if you copy any fork effect with another fork effect, that is just going to go infinite. So stuff like Ral Storm Conduit will machine gun the entire table down, and then stuff like Stormkiln Artist will net you infinite treasure tokens. It'll also net you infinite creatures with Dika Fractal Theorist. Just something to think about. Moving on, the next thing we have to worry about is our commander is only a 4/4, so we need to ensure that he can't be blocked. Mob Rule and Insurrection are solid ways to do this. We'll just steal our opponent's board, that way we have an empty board to attack into. Call Forth the Tempest is also super solid here since it's essentially a one-sided board wipe. Coronation of Chaos, not only can this take some blockers off the board, but additionally early game we can use it to possibly not die, sway our opponents, or force our opponents to attack somebody else. Volcanic Torrent, another way we can essentially one-sided board wipe. Shiny Impetus, this is another goat effect, so if someone has one creature, we can ensure that they're constantly attacking and we're going to get some ramp out of that. Moving on, Scroll Rack's going to be super solid. We can just set up the top of our library to ensure that we know what we're getting whenever we attack with our commander. Past in Flames is going to be solid here. We will get to cast this for free, so now everything that we've cast this turn that's in our graveyard, we can recast. This is going to basically guarantee that we get the win at this point. We have Mizzix Mastery as well. Kind of does the same thing, but just way better. As if we use that overloaded cost, it can be extremely broken and again just cause us to win the game on the spot. Valakut Awakening, just a solid way to rifle through our library, get rid of the cards we don't need. Frantic Search does the same thing. Brainstorm is another card we can use to set up the top of our library. Faithless Looting, again another way to rifle through our deck. Arcane Signet, Wayfarer's Bauble, Izzet Signet, and Talisman of Creativity are going to be solid ramp cards in the deck. Moving on to card advantage, we have some wheels with Reforge the Soul, Wheel of Misfortune, Windfall, and Jace's Archivist. Remember, when we are talking about stuff like Chasm Skulker and Ominous Seas being broken in the deck, the wheels are one of the reasons why. We then have Echo of Eons and Seagate Restoration, just for some more card advantage and to reset that graveyard if we need to. Moving on to removal, we have our counter magic with an Offer You Can't Refuse, Arcane Denial, Counterspell, and Swan Song. Then we have Reality Shift for creature removal, Devastation Tide as a solid board wipe, and then again we are going to run Blasphemous Act. Scroll down, our opening hand is not keepable. Next 7. Yes, we can keep this actually. So let's draw a card, go here. Got a lot of expensive cards in hand, but that's okay. We can also just play this next turn. Play the old bouncing one. Bounce it, discard a land. Kind of a slow start, honestly. But we're getting all the pieces we need, and that's important. Okay, this was the first card. Do we want to fire it off? New hand, but we already have big score in hand with a windfall. So what is it? Big score this turn. 2 treasure. Yeah, no, we won't fire it off. We're actually just going to do big score. Discard a card. We'll discard Reforged. Draw 2. Play the land. And then we get a big dragon. But it dies, so it doesn't matter. That's fine. And then we will go to our next turn. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now. Could fire this off. I think the plan, I know it's weird, but we're going to Jessica's Will, play Commander here. And then we're going to attempt to do silly things next turn. If that makes sense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cool. Alright, top deck a land, please. Oh, rough. Okay, so what we're gonna do... Oh, we'll mob rule instead. Okay, so we'll play because Insurrection's 8. We have access to 7 mana, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 mana. So we're going to cast Mob Rule. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Mob Rule. We'll take control of creatures, so we have a lot of things to sacrifice. That will net us a 6 mana dragon also. So let's just say, sake of argument, that we'll exile the top 10. Okay, so we got 2 extra combat spells. We will definitely cast those. We got a removal spell. And then these will go to exile. When these cast, we will get... that's 5, 9. We'll get we'll get 9 power on the board. So 2 combats in the bank. We'll attack again, and it'll be 9 because of the mana Hellkite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, cool. So we can Fury. That's going to give us another combat step. Then we reiterate, giving us another combat step. So that's 3 combat steps in the tank. Faithless Looting, draw 2, discard 2. I guess we don't have a land this turn yet, so we'll keep that. And then Inspired Tinkering, exile the top 3. 1, 2, 3. I can play those. Not very useful, but we do get 2 treasure tokens. 3 treasure tokens, so that's going to be pretty useful. Treasure tokens. I mean, we already have 3 combat spells in the tank, so I think we're going to get there. And that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. So 12. Okay, yeah. So that's going to be a total of 13 power. Sorry, 15 power. 15 power. So next combat, we will exile the top 15. Attack again. 1, 2, 3. Oh. 4, 5. Ooh. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, we've almost got our whole combo. All we need now is, what do we need now? Mana Geyser. Mana Geyser, and we've got our combo. We can generate infinite mana and kill everybody. So that's 4 combat spells in the tank now, because we can Relentless Assault. That's 4 power, so we'll get 4 off of the Mana Form Hellkite. Here, 8 off of the Mana Form Hellkite. And then we've got another 5 here, so that's going to be 13 or 14 off the... Yeah, 13 off the Mana. And then right here, we'll copy, I don't know, probably the Volcanic Torrent. And then, yeah, make sure everything's dead. So not everything's dead for sure. We've got over 15 on the Mana Form again. So we can attack again. We've got 4 combat steps in the tank. Bonus round. There it is, Mana Geyser. So I'm not even going to reveal the other ones. From here, the win looks like this. We cast Mana Geyser. That's going to go to the graveyard. I assume they go to the graveyard, right? Exile cards without... Yeah, okay. And then, since we did cast Past in Flames, we can flash back Mana Geyser, copy it with Reiterate, and then pay the buyback cost, returning Reiterate to our hand. Again, Reiterate, pay it, buyback. Generate infinite red mana, flashback Kraken with power to kill everybody. Boom, we got there. Alright guys, I'm back. Apologies, my phone died there, but I would like to say we can't go infinite there due to the Past in Flames exile clause, but after looking at it, we really didn't need to. You cast Mana Geyser once, and then you cast it a third time from the graveyard, and then you can cast Reiterate on it, getting us 3 Mana Geysers. If you pump 20 mana into a Kraken with power, that's going to be 30 damage to every opponent, and we definitely had more than 20 mana there, so in the end we got there. I did add Alchemist Retrieval to the deck. That way we can make that win line a little more efficient and we can reiterate from our graveyard to our hand, allowing us to get that buyback cost back. So that will solve that problem in the future for you guys. Now, again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the deck. Let me know if you're still enjoying the playtest. I'm not sure how much of you guys stick around for them, but anyway, I would like to thank my patrons, Newsome, Excessum, Chicken Salad, you guys are amazing, as well as all my other patrons. Again, if you want to become a part of the weekly voted deck tech, becoming a patron is the way to do that, and the link to my patron is in the description down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You're going to have daily deck techs coming while these spoilers are happening, so enjoy that. As always, I hope this helped you in your deck building endeavors, and I will see you in the next one.